Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Chronicles of Hollywood History, past, present, and future. Welcome. And here now, Corey Gomez.
Hello everyone and welcome to Chronicles of Hollywood History, past, present, and future. Today I am joined by, you might know him from A Spot on Renegade. You may know him from the unreleased Fantastic Four movie, but I know if you saw him you would know him. I am here by joined by Mr. Michael Bailey Smith. Thank you so much for joining me here today.
How are you, sir? Thank you. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I'm going to say it right now before I ask anything. I love the Fantastic Four movie. I remember picking up a bootleg at a convention. Oh my God. I don't know, it had to be about 15 to 18 years ago, I think. And I always thought it was a cool movie.
Yeah, no, it was a great movie. It was I think it was my second film that I did. The first one I ever did, first thing I did was, I got lucky enough to land a role by accident almost by, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, to play a bigger version of Freddy Krueger. After I finished I played a little football with Dallas Cowboys, I ended up going to San Diego, chasing some girl, and that lasted a few months, and then she dumped me for some guy, and so I ended up hanging out on the beach and training at Gold's Gym down there in San Diego, and a friend of mine I befriended named Steve Heddenberry, he played like Conan, up in the Conan Adventure show up in Universal, and he was an actor and dabbled in it a little bit. And he said, "Hey, I'm going to go up to Los Angeles for this audition for this movie called Nightmare on Elm Street, and I want you to come with me, and we'll go to Gold's Gym after." So I was debugging software for Xerox at the time, and didn't like that. Didn't like being in a cubicle. I said, "Hell yeah!" So we went in the car together and went up to Los Angeles. My first time, and I'm a guy from Michigan, right? So. Didn't really see. I saw the Walk of Fame, the Brown Derby, Hollywood sign. This is really cool. And he went into audition, and I was there too. And they asked me if I wanted to audition, and I went in and read for the director. He's asked me to laugh like Freddy Krueger, and I did, and I ended up getting a role. So it was pretty funny how that happened. But yeah, so then from there, I was lucky enough to land an episode of Renegade, my first TV show with Lorenzo Lamas and Branscombe, and it was pretty awesome. And then between normally TV shows last a week, 6 days to shoot. So it started in midweek and went through the weekend, and so weekends you had off. So I went back up to Los Angeles. They shot Renegade down in San Diego, and so I was up there, Los Angeles, and they said, "Hey, we have an audition for you for this movie called Fantastic Four." And I knew about that and all that, about the comic books and stuff. So I went in to read, and I read for the producers, and they said, "Can you just hold on for a second?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And then they called in some more producers. I read again. They said, "Hold on for a second." Next thing you know, I met the director and Holy Sassone, and we read, and I got the role. And it's kind of strange because that was filmed or auditioned the beginning of December, and we started filming literally, I think it was on December 30th or the 31st. It was really close to the end of the year. And unbeknownst to me and everyone else in the cast and the crew and all that stuff, that was all by plan. It wasn't by happenstance, because the people, Bernard Eichlinger and a bunch of other producers who had the rights to it needed to keep the rights by starting production right before the end of the year. I think it was 1993. So they had to start production before the year turned 1994, and that's how they did it. And so they were planning on just shooting a little bit of it and then shutting it down, but somehow the other, I don't know what happened, maybe wires got crossed, but we ended up finishing the whole production. And then they were going to try to shut it down, and Ole and everybody else, went behind the scenes, edited it, and did everything else, and they put together a trailer. And I remember it was at the Shrine Auditorium. There's a comic book convention there, and they showed it. They advertised they were going to show the Fantastic Four trailer. And the line to get in to watch the trailer was down the street and around the corner. It was long. And as people were filing in, hundreds and hundreds of people filing in to watch the trailer, Alex Hyde White, who played Reed Richards, Mr. Fantastic, he turned to me and he goes, Michael, I think we have something here. And he goes, and then we said, let's try to promote it. And I studied with a guy by the name of Jeremiah Comey, and he always told me that once you land that one film that you think is going to, propel you to the next level, you need to do whatever you can to promote that. So I said, okay. And I told my wife, and we were fairly newly married within only a couple of years. I said, I need to spend some money. So I spent about, I think, $12,000, $15,000 of my own money on hiring. We got a publicist, and he promoted the film, and we got the cast of the crew. The cast to go around these comic book festivals, and we flew around and did all those things like that, and promoted it. And we did it for the whole year. Ended up going to the Comic-Con in San Diego. And the thing was pretty disappointing about that. We had a table, and we were pretty proud of the film and all those things. And over on another section close by, there was this panel, and Stan Lee was on the panel. And that's when, I guess about the same time, maybe they were going to launch Marvel films and all those things like that. And then some of the audience screamed. We were in the back just listening to him talk, and some in the back, yelled out, "Hey, what do you think about this Fantastic Four movie coming out?" And he said, "Well, I don't, I heard that the actors tried really hard, and everybody tried hard, but I don't really give it much, And this was his baby, as towards the Fantastic Four in general." Yeah, and so that was really disappointing. But on the set, he came to the set one day, and it was during, if you've seen the film, it was during the part where it's in the part where we had our headquarters, and it was down in the lobby where I bump into Alicia Masters, run off her over and break her statue and whatever, and I pick her up, and that's when we kind of fall in love then. And between takes, he come up to me and he said, "Michael, I have to tell you," he goes, "when I created Ben Grimm, you are what I envisioned." And I'm like, "Wow, thanks, Stan. I appreciate that." It was kind of nice of him to say that, but yeah, it was a little disappointing when I heard that he kind of, didn't really smash the film, but a little bit. But it was doomed, and that's like that a documentary that came out, Doomed, the untold story of the Fantastic Four. So I mean, it's so happened. But you know what? It's kind of, in a way, it's a blessing, because you and I would not be talking about this right now. Because if it wasn't shelved, it would become a cult classic. It wasn't like bootleg copies flying around, people talking about it, story upon story, news articles and magazine articles and everything else, documentaries made of this, of what happened to the film. It probably just, when it came out, they would have said, "Yeah, it's okay. It's a low budget. Another low budget. Comic book film that they've been coming out like Punisher or Spider-Man, all those other things." Captain America, they just everybody forgot about it, but they didn't, because it was shelved, and this whole thing was built up about this backstory, and now it's like a favorite. People are pushing it for it to get released, and but yeah.
Look, I remember there were posters out. I remember there were ads in comics. I remember there were movies I rented that had the trailer in it.
Yeah.
Why do you think it was just let's never release it?
Yeah, I think Bernard Eichlinger and those guys, that was their plan. I think Roger Corman, stuck it on there, and I think we had a premiere set up at the Mall of America in Minneapolis. That's where we had the premiere was we set up. Where your Vikings, your favorite football team there, and so we had Children's Miracle Network, we had Ronald McDonald House, we had a bunch of radio and television affiliates all tied into this for this big premiere, and it was going to be this big thing. And then, I think it was the beginning of December of 1994, we got a cease and desist letter from, the powers that be, and the rights were sold to 20th Century. This is a funny story. So, years later, I moved on, I continued to work, tried to be a leading man to a certain extent. I had the hair and the good looks, and finally I said, screw it. I'm going to slick my hair back and be a bad guy for a while, show the muscles off and all that stuff like that. And I remember I went to 20th Century, to read for this one film, and it was at they had these bungalows. I went to the Chris Columbus building in the bungalow area, and Chris Columbus was supposedly he was the one who was slated to direct the Fantastic Four, the first one after ours. And I remember walking down the hallway. As you walk down any hallway, you always look through the open. You kind of glance into the open doors as you walk by. Right, just naturally what people do. Mm-hmm. And so I walked by one of the doors, and I glanced, and I stopped. And there, leaning up against this desk, was an envelope, and it said "Fantastic." It said F4 Picks. And I stopped, and I went in. I just walked into the office. No one was in the front part. I just stared at the envelope. It's on the floor, leaning up against it. And all of a sudden, this lady comes out and goes, "Yes, may I help you?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "My name's Michael Bailey Smith," and I said, "I played Ben Grimm." And she goes, we haven't cast that role yet." And I'm like, "No, I played in the original Fantastic Four." She goes, "No, we are the original. We're the first one." I said, "I beg your pardon?" I said, "No." I said, "Beg your pardon." I said, we were the original." She goes, "Well, I don't know about that, but we're the original, so you can, you're going to have to walk out of here and leave." I'm like, "All right." So I walked away. So that was kind of a funny little encounter. So, pretty funny.
What was the suit like? It had to be ungodly uncomfortable.
All right, so let's clear that up a little bit. That's not me in the suit. So, yeah, so I played Ben Grimm. I played the human form, and then I did the voice for the thing. So because it was low budget, they didn't do the casting yet, so they had to get the suit started, so they had to find a stunt guy. And so who they found was Carl Cipollio. Cipollio. But he is like Hollywood royalty when it comes to stunt guys. He's done everything, just tons and tons and tons of movies he's done, and he's a good actor too. So they hired him to be the stunt guy. Now, the thing about it, he's about a foot shorter than me. So in the film, you'll notice that you'll see me at the beginning of the film, and then when I get converted over to the thing, he's a lot shorter. So that's one thing they didn't really take into account, I think, when they did that. But I did the voice for the thing, and so I was there every day when Carl was there to make sure that we kind of matched each other's movements. He asked me what I would do during the scene or whatever, and then he would do it, stuff like that. But he also added a lot of his own flavor, which is really great. And he's a great actor, so it was good.
What'd you think of the second Fantastic Four movie with where Michael Chiklis was the Thing, Chris Evans? Did you like those two?
You want to know the truth?
Yeah,
I never
my
seen
review of them where they were just okay because Marvel was starting out and they didn't have shit to do with the comic.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of them.
Oh, okay. The last one's terrible. I can tell you the one that Sony did a few years back. That's pretty god awful.
Yeah, so no, I have done. I mean, it's like I have a long story behind the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So I will never listen to their music, and I will not.
Blasphemy.
I will not see a Fantastic Four movie. It's just one of those things. I feel like I'm cheating on my girlfriend if I do that. So
I saw the Chili Peppers 3 times in concert before anyone knew who the hell they were. They actually would come here yearly, or at least when an album came out, every few years. A place that held 200 people, maybe 100 came in. Then all at once they quit coming here because they were filling out stadiums. So I never got to see them at their height of their popularity. I saw them when it was back when they were just pretty much an LA punk band. They would just happen to come to Nebraska once in a while.
Oh, you want to hear? I've never told a story before, except for my close friends. You want me to tell a story?
If you want to, sure.
Okay, so when I was in Michigan, I went to Eastern Michigan, which is in right outside Ann Arbor. So it's right close. We're like 5 miles away from the University of Michigan, and so that's where I played football at. But during the summer times, a lot of the football players we'd bounce at a bar called the Nectarine Ballroom, which is in Ann Arbor, and which is a lot of people would come there, and on Thursdays was band night. So we'd have big band like Black Flag and all these like punk bands and new age bands would come in. A lot of reggae and things like that. One night, Red Hot Chili Peppers came in, And so I was the head bouncer at the time, and I there was about 12 guys that worked for me. We were all working together. And our job, bar manager said, we were told that we had to stand in front of the stage with our backs back to the stage to keep anybody from from stage diving, right?
Yeah.
Get down there. And so, up there's, that Akitas with Anthony Akitas and the Flea dude and all those guys are up there and going at it and playing and stuff like that. And we had people like hitting us in our backs and things. We're getting pounded big time as bouncers. We're getting pounded, and we just mind ourselves. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the Anthony Akitas dude stops the song and says, I don't know, he loses it and says, I want everybody to beat the living, you know what, out of the bouncers. From that point to the point at the end of the night, there was fights. One of our bouncers got stabbed. It got really bad. And so after their show, they went down to the green room. So guess what we did? We waited in the foyer while they took their little hoochie mamas down to the downstairs the green room. When they came out. We were waiting for them. We were, and we snatched them pretty good, and had a good few words. I can say, yeah. So now let's flash forward. So there was a lot more that happened to that, but that's all. Just cut it short. But then let's flash forward about I don't know how many years. Probably 15 years later. It's 2007, I think now, and so I'm at the Orpheum Theater in downtown Los Angeles, and it's the Pews Fangoria Chainsaw Awards. Mm-hmm. And I win the award for best fight scene for The Hills Have Eyes, and beat out like The Rock for and a bunch of other people and whatever. It's not really a competition, it's whatever. So I won this award. So after the show, Anthony Kiedis is like setting like 2 rows up for me, and and I have a bald head by this time. At the time I had hair back in the day, and I walk up to him and I say, "Hey, how you doing?" That's good. I said, "You're the guy that won the award." Yeah, and it's Michael Bennett Smith. And then he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I'm Anthony." I said, "Yeah, I know you are." I said, "Do you remember me?" No. I said, "Are you sure?" He goes, No, man. I said, "Yeah." I said, "We met a while ago." I said, "When?" I know, just a while ago. All right, man. Have a good night. I walked away. So that was it. So yeah. So I don't listen to Red Hot Chili Peppers. He did a wrong back then. But when you're young and crazy, that's what happens sometimes. It's all good.
So if you're from Michigan, you've got to be a Faygo and a Werner's man.
Yeah, a little bit. Not too much Werner's, but yeah. And what's the pizza place there? I forgot the name. I guess it's been a while ago. So I was raised. I was an Air Force brat. So I lived up in the upper part of Michigan, not the UP, but the northern part where Harrisville is at, Alpena. It's on the Huron side, Lake Huron side. So I lived on there, and then went off to the military. Was in the 82nd Airborne as a paratrooper, and then I got out and I walked out at Eastern and did my thing. So yeah. So.
I gotta ask, because you're the third person now that's been in this film, and I asked this question to everyone who's been in it. You had a small part as a bad guy. Vlad, I think was your name. CIA codename Alexa. Great movie that is now famous because, of course, the police officer in the movie was played by the Juice, O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, of course.
I've heard he was awesome on the film. I don't want to talk about him much, but I heard he was great on the film. I actually really liked the film. I like both of them.
Yeah, I did another TV show. I did another one. I don't have credit for it, but it's for First and 10.
Oh,
so remember that HBO show way back in the days? Yeah, so I did that. Yeah, I did an episode of that. Yeah, he was on that. He was always a nice guy. His nickname was Buckethead because he has a huge head that could fit in a bucket. Fill the bucket. That's what his nickname was on the set. And other football players would call him that, right? So not like someone normal. So, but yeah, on the show he was nice. There was no issues. Funny about that. A little bit after that, and guess who was on that show? What's his name? The house sitter guy. He was on that. He was a producer on that show. I think he was in the movie too. What's the name of that? Who's the guy with the hair? Who's on it?
In First and 10?
No. The guy was it was a CIA code named Alexa. I don't know if he was in the movie. I think he was producer. He was a producer on the movie. And he's the guy who was in real life O.J. Simpson's house sitter, the Kato Caitlin.
Oh, Caitlin. Okay.
Yeah, so he was involved. So it's funny because I got to know that guy on the set, and then with OJ, they were, they were friends, at the time. So that was pretty funny. He was a good dude. Yeah, big guy, thick guy. He's real thick.
Well, you were, I don't know if you still are, but back in the day, you were really big, weren't you?
Yeah, I was big, guys. When I played football, I was 6'4", and about 290 pounds. I had about 10% body fat, something like that. So yeah, I was pretty big dude. So I used to eat really strict. Not anymore, but I used to.
Yeah, I used to be real big. I had a little bit of help, but now I'm big, but kind of in the wrong way. I got to lean down, and I'm working on that.
Yeah, I understand that.
You got any memories of one of my favorites with awesome dude, Mr. Philip Ree? You were in Best of the Best 3.
Yeah, with Philip. Simon Ree and Philip Ree. Simon's a good dude. Simon's a stunt coordinator, stunt guy. A legend in the fight world, and especially stunts and things like that. But Philip Ree, a great guy too. That was Best of the Best, and that was one of the early films that I did. I was really happy to land that film. Who was in that film was two people that Arlie Ermy is one. He passed away, but I had a couple scenes with him. We actually ended up killing him in the film, and it was after Full Metal Jacket. So I remember on the set we were sitting there, and it's funny because we had a lot of time off. Like we do a scene or whatever, maybe a few days with a scene, and we had like 3 or 4 days off. Right? They shoot other things, and so what all of us do is go golfing. So Arlie Ermy would go out with his golf knickers, right, like the old 1920s golfing guy with the beanie and the hat and things like that. And Chris McDonald would come out there, as well. The guy that was about Thelma and Louise, Christopher McDonald, and he would come out. He was a golfer, and then Mark Wellston, who was I was his right hand man in the show. What a phenomenal actor Mark Wellston is. He's done tremendous work, and so we'd all go out golfing, plus a bunch of stunt guys. We'd all go out golfing and the weekends and stuff. And but I would bug Arlie Ermy, please just yell at me like I was a drill sergeant. So he finally broke down and did it once for a short period of time. But it was crazy that doing that show because I played white supremacist, right? And Mark Wilson was my boss, and we had this scene that was out on this rock quarry. So we shot in two locations. One was in Bedford, Indiana, and the other one's in Jackson, Ohio. They're found in the southern part of Ohio. Well, Bedford, Indiana is where the Grand Dragon from the Ku Klux Klan was born and raised, and it's the southern part of Ohio, of Indiana. It's surprising. It's my first time ever that I've witnessed firsthand, straight up hardcore racism. Like, it's just like, holy crap. So, we did a scene where there was this black preacher, and we put on this rock quarry, and we end up killing him, and then we all scream, white power. But we had all these extras around the rim of the rock quarry, which is filled with green water, right? And so they're up there, and so we're all screaming with our hands up like Zeke Heil, like the Hitler hand, and saying, white power, what say you, white power, that was the situation. And we're all doing that. So they said, okay, cut, we're going to go to lunch now. So as we're going to lunch, all these guys walk up to me that are extras, go, hey, man, I'm with you. I said, what do you mean? He goes, white power, man. I'm like, nah, wait a minute, hold on. And I had like tattoos on me and things like that, white power tattoos and all that stuff. And so that was one instance. The other instance, which is kind of crazy, there was a guy that from the crew, and I was into working out all the time. So wherever I'd go, I'd always try to find a gym. And this one guy who's on the crew, he's a black dude. He said, "Hey man, let's go to the gym." So we did. We went to this one gym, and we walk in. It's this local gym, and we walk in, and I said, "Hey, us two, we want to work out for the day." And the guy goes, "I'll let you in, but that black boy ain't coming in here." And I'm like, "What?" And The other guy my friend had to hold me back from beating the shit up. Excuse my language, beating the crap out of that
you
dude.
cuss on here.
Yeah, but I was so freaking pissed. It was like I could not believe that. I have never in my life heard that before. You know, I've heard people call other people N-word and things like that, but straight up hardcore, just right in your face. That's just pretty crazy. So, but yeah, it was a fun show. Simon Reed's great. Philip Reed's a great guy. So is Simon, but Philip's a great guy to work with. I was lucky to be selected to be on that show, and I remember auditioning and so happy to get that. I was still, starting out acting then, so I did a few films, and I must say my career, I've done, 40, 50, 60 films and 100 episodes of television, a bunch of TV shows, commercials and video games and voiceover and things like that. I've been pretty blessed, that's for sure. I have a few actors or friends of mine, or I still write and I still do movies every so often, but I'm in another business now, and I have like customers or colleagues, their kids wanting to get in the business, and they know my history, and so they ask me some advice, and I've gotten probably 3 or 4 people started in the business and kind of showed them what to do, who to talk to, and what to look out for, and things like that. And yeah, it's fun to see them succeed, but it's also heartbreaking sometimes to see them struggle. And it's a tough business, and that's the thing about Hollywood. I mean, they don't care if you're there or not. They don't. So don't think you're special. Just make them see you. Make them respect you. My goal every time I went to audition was to make sure I was so good, so great that they would say, I have to hire you. I have to hire you. When I did a movie called Monster Man, the director, when I was reading for him, got up and hugged me after I read. He goes, "You're perfect. I don't need to see anybody else." How soon can you start? I go, "I'm ready. Let's go." So it was, and rarely do you get something like that, but I've always, everything I've done, I've really got a movie that just was handed to me. I think after I did The Hills of Eyes, I got without auditioning, I got a movie called Chain Letter. Played another bad guy in it, but other than that, I've always had to hustle, always had to audition, but it's like I tell my kids, life is a game, and no matter what you do, there's a game behind it. So when you get in the acting world, and you're auditioning, it's a game. Just play the game. Be good at the game. Work on your audition techniques. That's what when I first started. After I got lucky, I did Nightmare on Elm Street, part 5, and I said, I want to do this. What I want to do. I want to do this. I want to make a career out of this. And so I went and studied it. Every moment, 4 or 5 times every night. 4 or 5 times a week, I would be in scene study, audition technique, improv, cold reading, every type of class possible I took to get better as an actor. So, and there's other big guys that started. They just thought because they were big, they'd walk in and say a few lines, whatever, and they were happy. I didn't want to. I wanted to be the lead in the film. I wanted to be guest starring. I wanted to make a career out of it. That's what I wanted to do. I just want to do it by luck. I want to do it by skill. And so yeah. But I see people all the time go, oh, fuck it. I don't want to do this anymore. It's bullshit. And guess what happens? You get jaded and you're out of the business. Mm-hmm. And the thing, and Hollywood doesn't care. They just keep doing. They'll find the next actor that steps up and will take the role. And that's the one thing that that I got in my head is that I'm going to make them see me. I'm going to make them care about. I'm going to make them want me. I want to be so good that they say we got to hire this guy. And that's what I strive to do. And and fortunately for me, I worked quite a bit. I was very, very lucky. I've had over 100 credits, in my time doing this, and probably a lot more that's on the IMDb. That's for sure. I look at, hey, I'm missing some stuff here, but still, But at the beginning, I did everything. I did everything possible. I remember one time I had this one manager, and he was just some guy that hooked up with me, whatever, and just said, hey, I'll help you out, whatever. And I would go and dress up as characters and go to a bar, and when there was a premiere, and walk around in that suit. And just to get like $500 or whatever to do that, I just did. I did a play just just a guard in a play, in downtown Los Angeles. I had no clue what I was doing, but it was getting I did, back in the early 90s, there's all these game shows, dating game shows. And I did a couple of those just to get used to being in front of a camera. And I did it just to get myself out there as much as possible. And I failed. I sucked. I remember one of my first auditions after finishing Nightmare on Elm Street. I walked in, and the cast director goes, when I got done reading, she goes, "Hi, can I ask you a question?" I said, "Oh, yeah, sure." I said, "Do you have a job, outside this?" She goes, "Yeah, I do. It's actually pretty good. I work for this test laboratory, and I debug software and things like that." She goes, "Yeah, you probably should keep that job." And I walked out, and I said, "Oh, thanks. Thanks, you should give me a compliment." And I'm being, naive. Walk out and go, "Wait a minute, she just insulted me," and it just pissed me off. And I'm going, that's what. And I've had other casting directors say at the beginning, he just doesn't have it, whatever. And it just pissed me off, and it made me want to work even harder. It's the same attitude as when I walked on at Eastern Michigan, as a football player. I had to prove myself. I hadn't played in 4 years because of the military, and then I walked on, and I just made sure I hit the hardest. I ran the fastest. I was in every drill. And if you went against me, you're going to be hurting the next day. That was my attitude. And I literally will walk on the field saying to myself, today I'm going to die. And I don't care. I'm going to hit you so hard, I don't care. And that's what I did. And that's the same attitude you take when you go to Hollywood. I'm going to work so hard. I'm going to audition so well that you're going to love me. You're going to want to hire me. And that's what you do. And I've taken that into, now I write. I've written about 10 screenplays. I said one just got optioned. And my goal, and it's crazy to say this, but I'm going to say it, is that my goal is to win an Oscar as a writer. I wasn't going to win as an actor. I was an okay actor. I got lucky, and I did a lot of stuff, but there's some actors that are phenomenal. Well, they're holy crap good.
You were definitely one of the luckiest guys in the world, because you were on an episode of VIP.
That is true.
I watched that religiously. I mean, 4 beautiful women. I mean, I would have loved to have been on that show. My goal was always to work for PM Entertainment, but it didn't happen.
Yeah, yeah. That VIP is cool. That's with what's her name?
Pamela.
Yeah, Pamela Anderson. She was a nice lady. She's a nice lady. Yeah, short, tiny gal.
You did an episode of LA Heat, which is one of my favorite TV shows of all time.
That's stretching way in the back. Yeah, I played a bodybuilder dude who lost his wife, and I had this emotional scene in the jail because I think I killed her and it wasn't me. So yeah. So
Stephen Williams is one of the coolest guys in the freaking world. I have no problem saying that.
Yeah, it's a good dude.
You got a Buffy the Vampire Slayer, another amazing show.
Yeah, that was I think was that between I was doing Charmed. I did Charm for 2 years.
If I told you I watched Charm, I'd be a liar.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
Although I tried to stalk Shannon Doherty when she filmed a movie here once.
Yeah, she's a nice lady. Everybody gives her a lot of crap for being this, that, and everybody has their moments, but she's a pretty cool lady.
After following her endlessly, hanging out in her hotel's bar for a week straight, she did come down there once, and she did sign a napkin for me. I was 19, I think. She was sweet. She entertained me for about 2 or 3 minutes. Then I left her alone. But yeah, I was desperately wanting to date her at the time.
Yeah.
Didn't get that far.
She's a cool lady. Yeah. Cool lady. Yeah, so VIP was cool. That's some old shows, man. Good stuff.
How'd My Name is Earl come about? Because my son loves that show. We just watched it with him. And you had a good run there when Earl was in jail there during when you were on there.
Yeah, it started with just one episode of I was on Chain Gang, and I had to sing Beauty School Dropout from
geez.
Beauty School Dropout.
Yeah.
No graduation. Anyway, so I sang that, and they said that I was pretty funny and cool, so they brought me back for another 3 or 4 episodes. It was good. I remember one episode was pretty funny. It was Jason, and then it was another guy, and they had a prison prom. So they had the female prisoners came in, and And I'm this big racist dude, and I walk up and I see this chocolate fountain at the table. I go, hey, there's a white chocolate. I go, no, there's a chocolate fountain, but where's the white chocolate fountain? and then Earl points over there. I go, oh, okay. That's pretty funny.
How scary is it to see Ethan Suplee now when he's like just jacked to the gills?
I know, that's good for him. That's good. Being big like that, you don't last too long doing that. I've had quite a few friends just recently, I played ball and things like that, and passed away just because of being big. And yeah, it's when you get older, your heart gets a little more tired. It's tough to push all that blood around. So yeah.
Here's a question probably no one's ever asked you. Maybe, I don't know, because I've seen the film Black Masks 2: City of Masks. What are your memories of a man who I liked him? I used to watch wrestling. I thought he should have been at least in martial arts films. Rob Van Dam.
Yeah, nice guy. I didn't have a lot of interaction with him, and it's funny. This is a crazy story. So I read for one role. Thought I got it, right? So I get on a plane and I go to Bangkok, and they pick me up and they hand me a script, and I look at it and go, this is not, no, you're doing this character. But I thought I prepared for one character. Next thing you know, I switched up to another character. So I had to scramble, fight the jet lag and scramble and get up to speed. And so I played this one character. Yeah, I liked it better. It was more of a fatherly character, which is kind of cool. And then I interacted more with Andrew Bernarski, which is a great guy. So, but yeah, but I met Rob, nice dude. Yeah, yeah.
That also featured a very young, I think, had to be just starting out, Scott Adkins.
Yeah. That's great. We shot that in Bangkok for I think 2 months or something like that. So, yeah, it was fun. It was fun for like the first week or so, and then it got kind of boring because, when you're overseas like that, sometimes you don't know anybody. Actors pretty much stay by themselves, and so there's a lot of alone time. I remember. Funny story. When I first got there, I got there like at 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, and they picked me up, and they whisked me off to the hotel and dumped me off, and it's like still dark out, and I get my key, and I go to my room, and I crash for like maybe 3 or 4 hours. I get up, and I go downstairs, and I say, hey, I want to go to the gym, and they didn't have a gym in the hotel. The one we stayed at didn't have one. He said, so they wrote in Thai the name of the hotel. And so I hopped in a taxi, paid him some baht, and took off. And that's about a 40-minute drive downtown Bangkok. And, Bangkok's a huge city. And I go to the gym, I work out, and I get done. I walk outside, and I go, holy crap. I forgot the name of my hotel. I don't have an address. I have nothing. And talk about, like, a holy shit factor going on, because you're in a foreign country. You can't speak the language. You have no contact information for anybody, period. And I'm thinking, holy crap, and I have some money, a little bit of baht, but not much, and I don't know what to do. I had no one to talk to. And so then, what do you do? I mean, what do you literally do? You have I'm like, I don't have a phone that works. I can't call home. I don't know what to do. This is back in the, I forgot, early 2000s or something like that. Like, was it 2000?
Yeah, 2000, 2001, somewhere back then, yeah.
Yeah, you didn't have a cell phone back then. So, I don't think you did. And then maybe you did, but I don't remember. Maybe you had a pager. Maybe. But so I said, wait a minute. Okay. I looked out my window. I'm thinking back to my military training. I looked at my point of reference. So I looked out my window and I said, I remember across my window is a river down below, and across the river is a Radisson hotel. Okay, if I get to the Radisson, I can find my way back to the hotel. And so I got a taxi, go Radisson, and the taxi driver takes off, and he dumps me off at a Radisson. This is not the one. But I get another one, Radisson, different Radisson. So he takes me, I finally get to the hotel, and he dumps me off, and I went around the hotel. I looked and saw the river. Perfect. There's my hotel, and that's how I found it. So I learned a valuable lesson. So since then, I've done like tons of films all over the world, and from Morocco to Bulgaria to Jamaica to Hong Kong, all over. And the first thing I do when I go to hotels is get a hotel card. So with the address.
Where I'm curious because you were in Hell with Van Damme and
Yeah,
LT. Where did you guys film that one at?
in Bulgaria.
Okay, I say I knew that
And so,
wasn't done in the States because that was kind of after Van Damme's theatrical run had kind of ended.
yeah, so it was in Sofia, Bulgaria. So that's the capital. Beautiful, beautiful place. Yeah, it was good. I was there for about 2 months, 3 months, something like that, a long time. So
How was it
yeah,
like working with him?
he's a good dude. I mean, he's a hard worker. I mean, I'm not gonna, he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He works hard. And when we had to do fight scenes, he wanted to rehearse, so I'd go to his hotel and rehearse and things like that. So, um, but yeah, it was a lot. That was one of the films that I probably worked the hardest. I had bad knees from football and things like that, so I couldn't. I had a full on big old fight scene at the end, and that was a fight scene we shot for like a week and a half. So just long, and every angle, everything like that. Ringo Lam was director. So yeah, it was good though. A lot of great food. Yeah. So Lloyd,
Get a lot of good football talk with Lawrence Taylor.
not really. Not really. He's in his own. He's at a different level than me.
Gotcha.
So I basically, I got to breathe on the NFL. He lived it, and ate it, and chewed it up, and spit it out. So he's a different breed. So nice guy though. Nice guy.
You even had a small part as ironically, a skinhead. I have a shaved head too now. Don't feel bad. My hair all fell out. The first Undisputed movie with Ving Rhames and Wesley Snipes. Very underrated
Yeah,
film.
yeah. That was we shot that. Yeah, and Walter Hill was the director.
Yeah.
He did all the 48-hour movies and things like that, and they're well known. Yeah, read for that and ended up getting it. Was very blessed. We shot that in Las Vegas, actually outside of Las Vegas, in a prison called the High Desert Prison, which is about 40 minutes away. And there's a couple of great stories with this. I remember the first day it had. Oh gosh, let me go to. I can go to look at some of those people. But let me see if I find it. Let's see. There it is. But I had Michael Rooker on it, and he was in the band along with Wes Studi,
Mm-hmm.
and there was somebody else. I don't think Bing Rames was there. He wasn't there. He wasn't in the band. I think John Stater was in it too. We were all driving. We're in the band. We're all talking it up. Talking big, talking about whatever. This prison, whatever. We come over the top of this hill and we see the High Desert Prison up into the hills a little bit, and all of a sudden we stopped. We stopped dead in our tracks, going, "Holy crap!" And when you go to a real prison, there's a pucker factor of about 5,000. There's no playing. There are guards with guns on you. You can't wear anything that has jeans or anything that looks like, because that's their prison guard. And so yeah, that was pretty crazy. And then the other thing that was kind of interesting is that about I played the skinhead, and so I had like a swastika on the back of my head, and I was Aryan Brotherhood, so I had a bunch of stuff all over me that was ABs and stuff. I did a lot of research to cover that up. And so what happened, between days of shooting, I would go work out. I worked out at this one gym off the strip in Las Vegas. They put us up at the Caesar's Palace, and I would walk like a mile to this gym. And I remember working out there, and I was getting hot at the gym. I wore a beanie to cover up the swastika, because it's probably not good to walk around with a swastika.
No, probably not.
Yeah, so I took off this beanie I was wearing to wipe the sweat off my brow, and I put it back on, and those people were staring at me. I was like, crap. And so as I was leaving, I walked outside, and two Las Vegas cop cars pulled up, threw me against the hood, handcuffed me, and one guy grabbed me and asked me was screaming at me and asked me what school I went to. And I went, Eastern Michigan? No. He goes, no, asshole, what prison? I didn't know school meant prison. So anyway, and I proceeded to tell him that I am not a criminal. I am not I've not been in prison. that I'm an actor, and these ABs on my hands, the top of my hands, are just, fake tattoos, whatever. They scraped one of them off, and then they kind of jacked me up and says, "You better cover your shit up here in Vegas. If I see you walk around us again, we're going to have some serious issue." So I went back to the set the next day, and the makeup artist goes, "What happened to your hand?" I go, because these tattoos last for a couple of weeks, right? And so she's going, I go, "Well, I told her the story about how I almost got arrested." And then I guess unbeknownst to me, it was that story was spread around. And then Walter Hill walks up to me later on where I'm ready to shoot the scene with Bing Rames, and Walter Hill goes up and goes, "Hey, Michael, so you ran a little bit of trouble downtown." I go, "Yeah, I almost got arrested." He's going, "You know what? That's good casting." and then he walked away. So that was pretty good. It's funny, on that show, I had to say the N-word to, and it was cut out in the film, but I had to say the N-word to Bing Rames. And I said, before the scene, I say, "Hey, man, I'm going to apologize right now for saying this, but it's in the script, and I have to say this." He goes, "Dude, it's good. Don't worry about it." But I have to tell you, that's a guy, he's an actor's actor. He's an actor's actor.
He was a monster, too, back then.
Yeah, I'm bigger than he is, but no, he's a thick dude. He knocked me out in so the train scene knocks me out in after I come up on him a little bit, and so but he's an actor's actor. He's there doing off camera and all those things like that. There's other actors, I'm not going to mention names, the people I've worked with. You'll do, they'll first shoot him, and then they turn around on you, and then the guy's gone, and then you're doing your scene with some stand-in who's going, "Yes, I'm going to kill you now. Don't move." There's like no acting in it. Like, that part's difficult. And that part I don't like about the business. You get these people that they're, what's the word? I don't know, prima donnas. They're not grateful for the position they're in. So that part's disappointing.
Now, you said you had some scripts you were working on. Is there any other upcoming projects you can tell us about?
No, just that one. I mean, there's one right now. It's called My Good Boy. It's a pretty good story. It's there's always these great stories about, like Invincible, with Mark Wahlberg and things like that, about athletes, or people that want to be great athletes and how they overcome the great odds to become successful athlete. It could be anything, right? You see that all the time, right? No matter what, if it's baseball or like The Natural or and all these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you never hear the story about the guy who loses everything in an instant. And that's what happened to me, right? I go to the Cowboys. My dream's right there. I'm playing against Randy White, and seeing Toothall Jones. Tom Landry's your coach. You get to put the helmet on. All these cool things, and then it ends in an instant. And then what do you do? And so that's about that story. So I'm not going to tell much more than that, but it's about that story.
Now, for all your fans, because you have horror fans, action fans, are you online? Do you have a website, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere people can follow you?
I'm not a big, I have a Twitter account, and this is when I first started, because I did it a long time. I never used it. I've used it a bit more now. It's called Millie Bahu. It's MILIBAHU. It's the first two letters of me, my wife, my two boys. And yes, it's at Millie Bahu. And then that's for Twitter. And then just we go to Facebook. There's the Facebook page, whatever. But that's it. Not much more than that. I'm not really a big social guy to a certain extent.
I got you on that. Well, I know this, for everybody listening, they're going to listen to this on Christmas. This is the day before Christmas Eve, so I really, really want to thank you for taking time out of your day here right before a holiday to actually speak with me and answer Fantastic Four questions for us.
Yeah, Fantastic Four and a bunch of other stuff, but no, it's been good. I've been, again, like I said, I've been blessed with a pretty remarkable career, and, and for you to recognize that and want to talk with me, that's an honor. So I appreciate that, So
no,
all good stuff. More to come. It's funny. I'm an old dude. I'm 63 now. I may not look like it. I definitely don't sound like it. I don't act like it. But people say, "Wow." I said, "Yeah, but you know what? I've done quite a bit. I graduated high school in the Middle East in Iran. I superintended my high school as one of the 50 American hostages. Back in the a long time ago in 1979. Was in the 82nd Airborne as a paratrooper. Then walked on at Eastern Michigan. Became preseason, All-American, Sporting News All-American, and then, went to the Cowboys and then finished my degree. Then got into bodybuilding for a while, competed in bodybuilding a few times, contests, and then ended up in Los Angeles and, made a 25-year career out of acting. And now I'm known in the IoT world, for building businesses from zero to multi-million-dollar businesses through, my work and my effort. So I take the same work ethic that I did when I played football as an actor, and I applied it to the business world, and it's turned out pretty well. So it's been good. I've been blessed, and I have a good family, and I have people like you wanting to talk to me. So, hey, can't beat that.
Oh, no, and I can't thank you enough for taking the time for this. I really do appreciate it.
Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And for you, have a great holiday with you and your family.
Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. You have been listening to the Chronicles of Hollywood History. Thank you from Gomez Richmond Productions.